All right, Hype Network, we are back.
Here we
Long
go.
break.
Season 2.
Oh, we just decided it's season 2. Silky Smooth season? I don't know.
Yeah, we're coming back. We're silky, we're smooth,
Yeah.
and it is season 2.
Season
That's kind of
2.
cool. I think we just off the cuff that one.
Yeah, I do, and I like it. I like the
Yeah.
idea of just a
Yeah.
refresh going into it. It's like the first day of school again.
It is
See your
school week.
friends.
It really is.
It really is.
We're back.
Yeah.
I forgot to pack my lunch.
But no test you missed, so it's all good, right? It's
You should have brought butter chicken for today.
one of these days we're
One
gonna
of
do
these days. Wouldn't it be do like a live eat podcast?
Yeah. Do you guys like spicy food? Proper spicy food?
How spicy? What is
Indian
proper?
spicy. Like if I'm bringing it, it's gonna be spicy.
Yeah, but I think everyone says that, and then it's a little underwhelming.
No.
Oh,
I was
okay.
in Hyderabad one time, and the food is spicy. The
Yeah.
biryani.
Yeah.
Okay, if Vance says it's spicy, it's spicy.
It's,
All right.
it's spicy. Did you guys ever, in school, trade food?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
do that?
yeah.
Did you
That's definitely not an Australian thing.
really?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's so American.
Yeah. Like,
what do you
the,
trade?
The marketplace
Yeah,
of
yeah.
food trading
Yeah,
was
yeah.
hot
In the schoolyard.
Yeah.
In the schoolyard, yeah. Like you would trade desserts. Like I had gummy bears.
Ooh. You had the good parents.
You had tikka masala. I, don't
I
know,
did. No.
something like that.
My food was not tradable. Within Indians, it was tradable. I had a market for
Little
my
Vindaloo.
food. Yeah, no, it really was.
I'm not
It
gonna
was a lot
lie.
of
Fish
wraps.
sauce wasn't tradable either.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
The cool parents got snacks like gummies or like Oreos.
So
I never
you
had
would
that.
you would trade like unsealed items?
Oh yeah. All
Yeah.
the time.
Wow,
Yeah, kids were.
that's the good old days.
Yeah.
You know,
Some-
kids today, like we would do the Halloween trick or treat,
Mm-hmm.
and like if anything was not sealed, Gary would be like, "Nah, cancelled."
Right.
Like the Tootsie Rolls, because they're like you could unwind them.
Yeah.
It had to be sealed.
We're in a new world. I mean, I remember the good old days when we used to walk to school.
Right.
Look at
Like
this.
that doesn't happen.
Vince just turned 35 yesterday.
Yeah. Happy birthday,
And now,
Pastor
now
Vince.
he's joined the club where he can talk about the good old days.
I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm in my mid 30s,
Was this the
heading
first?
into my late 30s.
When did that happen? Do you think? Because I've been doing it recently, but I'm not even.
good old days?
Yeah, the
Talking
good
about
old
that?
days.
I don't know.
I think you
I
have
don't
to be
know.
at least 35.
Yeah. Do you think?
that's when the shift is. How old are you?
33, turning 34.
Wow, you're an early,
Yeah.
an early look back.
Yeah.
You're
I don't
still
know.
in the good old days.
You know what it is? It's around like we've talked about this before, but it's around like people doing work. I feel like we're like my generation is like
Right.
the last generation to really want to do work. And then you see people coming up and they're all taking like the shortcut and like the easy way out. So that's when I've gotten to
So
the
you
good
feel
old
like you're
days.
on the final
Yeah.
frontier of people that actually want to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like people grinding. And I don't know if it's, hanging out with people, but I genuinely feel that way. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's all the good old days I'm talking about.
They're the good old days.
Yeah, like
when people had
wanna work.
grit.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
grit. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
when
really
people
could
grew
fight through
beards.
stuff. Yeah. Nobody has this anymore. I'm the last generation with beards.
Do you think that AI is going to remove even the need for grit and resilience?
Oh, for sure.
Or is that like a principle that's just going to hold true even
actually-
when robots exist?
Ooh, I don't think there is ever a world I could forecast that the grittiest people don't succeed.
So resilience is still needed in the era of robots.
I think it's needed even more.
Even more.
Okay, because there is for it to be a successful person, to be an outlier, all it's going to require is grit. But for those people, there's going to be so much stuff that can be done for you.
Right.
The
The only differentiator. I see what you're saying.
only differentiator
Got
is
it.
going to be those who have grit.
Good.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And so we have an action-packed podcast this week. Do you guys want to jump into any highlights? from
Yeah,
the-
I'm very excited to jump into what you've got on the docket today.
Okay, so no highlights from like what you guys have been doing over the last month. Just jump right into it.
Oh,
We can because we
sure.
have an action-packed docket. So do you guys
Sure,
want
quick
anything?
highlight, Vance.
Quick highlights.
Summer.
Ooh, summer highlights. Well, we actually just got done with our Overflow Summer Summit, which was really, really cool. We're big believers in, obviously, in-person interaction. And I just get more and more convinced and convicted when I bring my team together how necessary it is. Just in seeing people's pattern of work, because we did a lot of co-working that week. It was highly productive, but then you just start realizing how people actually work in person. And some people are just, wow, better than I expected. And some people are like, wow, you don't work. And so there's just like a lot of things to be able to address because you get to see it up close and personal. And then you can't have a summit without having to actually climb up a summit. And so we took the team to Mission Peak
Nice.
in the East Bay. And most people made it.
Yeah,
most
yeah.
people made it. The people that didn't, it is a dock on them for sure.
For sure.
It's going to be showing up in their perf reviews.
Yes.
But it's also like a rude awakening, right? If you can't summit Mission Peak.
Right,
it's
right,
not
right.
easy.
The last bit is the hard
but it's
part,
not
right?
impossible.
Yeah.
It's not Half Dome.
No.
Oh.
If you're a millennial, you
Wait,
should
have
be
you
able to
done Half
go
Dome?
Mission Peak.
Have you done?
I
that?
haven't.
It's on
but-
my bucket
but
list
I
to
would-
do.
It's on my bucket
Yeah,
list, but
yeah, yeah.
that's like, wow, that's
Right,
like
right.
hardcore hiking.
Yeah, no, like my Filipino auntie can do Mission Peak. Like
That's what I'm saying.
if you're a
So,
millennial, you should be able to do Mission
Exactly.
Peak. Anyways,
that's
that
fair.
was one of the highlights. A lot of things that happened, but yeah, my kids started school together. It's good.
Yeah.
That's-
Pastor Adam?
I feel like I spend most of summer abroad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's right.
We've
You've been
been
traveling.
ton of time in Italy. We did some time in Maui. That's abroad. And we last week actually had a really great opportunity to visit a couple of very innovative but also historical companies. Got to visit and speak with the CEO of Italy's oldest company, Beretta, 500-year-old company, 15
cool.
generations of legacy, and got to have lunch with the current CEO, Franco Beretta, and his son, Carlo, who is the heir apparent. Ton of learnings from that. Very, very good trip. And then also on that trip got to go to the fashion brand Brunello Cucinelli and had lunch with the CEO there. And honestly, it was so insightful. All the things that I learned, different way to do business, very much an anti or a polar perspective to business in the Silicon Valley. Where I would say that what summarizes the Silicon Valley is profit over everything. Their profit is, I wouldn't even say profit is second. I would probably say profit is maybe a third on the rank of priority, which is really intriguing when you're actually in an environment like that.
What's 1 and 2?
I think 1 and 2 would be dignity, would be 1, and longevity
Wow.
would be 1 and 2.
When you mean like a legacy, like building
Legacy.
something legacy, that's
Yeah,
really
like
cool.
a legacy, generational legacy.
yeah.
That the mindset is this is going to stay in our family line, but dignity is first.
Yeah.
Bringing dignity back to work, dignity back to arts, culture, all that kind of stuff. And if that eats into the profit margin, so be it.
That's something. Yeah, that's definitely something. I forgot. I think it was an all-in podcast. I forgot what company they were talking about, but they were talking about shifting the business to like figuring out who in the family they should give it to, and it was like breaking up the family, and they're trying to figure it out.
Right.
I forgot what company was that, but it was like all about
it's,
profits.
Murdoch's.
Murdoch's,
yeah.
there it is, yeah.
Yeah, the
'Cause they're going through that
real
right
life
now.
succession.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because when you look at the generations of so when you go to the Beretta Museum, Beretta Factory head office, they're on their wall in several places. They've actually got the generational family line, 15 generations,
That's
and you just
cool.
look at the branches and the families and the line of succession, and it's fascinating because even in a generation where there was 2 sons, it was evident which son was the CEO, who was going to be and it's not always the oldest, and it's just funny how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting, right? Like I can just imagine, I wasn't there with you, but if you are part of a generational line,
Yep.
right, that's carrying on a brand or an organization, you must feel the weight of that.
Yeah.
It's
For
interesting
sure.
that some of the books in the Bible start with the lineage.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's something in a multi-generational aspect of an
Yeah.
organization.
I think there's something really key about that with, because I think you could see the next generation as a squandering generation. They've never had the grit. They've never had to earn it. They've
Right.
just kind of stepped into somewhat, for these companies, luxury.
Yeah.
A lifestyle of not pioneering. But yet these particular companies have successfully passed on the baton or the values and the mission to each generation, where they are in many respects the best person to take over because they have the heartbeat, they have the heritage, and they have the the focus on keeping it in the family line.
So when you met the son of Brunello Cucinelli, who's running the company now, did you get a sense that his father, forced him to go through unnecessary hardship, so to build that grit? Or do you think it just looked different and he just caught it in the atmosphere, or what?
So really interesting about Brunello is he doesn't have sons, he has daughters.
Oh,
and
okay.
so Riccardo Stefanelli, he's the CEO, he's the son-in-law
Got it.
of Brunello.
Oh,
So he
interesting.
married one of his daughters, and this guy's impressive. He is a very impressive young man. I say young man because he's a year younger than me.
There you go. You're his elder.
So I kept calling him young man, and we were having a great joke. But he's very sharp. He's very intentional on carrying what his father-in-law wants to do to really make the dreams and the mission come true.
Side note: he spoke good English.
Great English. Cool. Yeah, very, very astute, very sharp. I mean, they're a global brand.
Yeah.
So he's traveling all over the world.
Cool.
But come from a small town of Solomeo. Like if you go to where the town is, the whole town has been transformed by this company. And they've really kind of put back into the town, and the whole world is different because of it. Pretty much everyone in the town, because it's so small, works at the factory. Cool. And they all have lunch together. Yeah. This is crazy. Like 3,000 workers that all file at the same time, and you have lunch with all the workers. It's really cool. It's very kind of like a Google Apple vibe, but way more intentional and way more family. Yeah. Right. You know, so it's not like you go up with your tray. It's you book a seat. Oh. You can't book a table, so you reserve a seat. And that seat, you could be sitting next to who knows, but you're forced to talk to people.
That's really cool.
Not just people in your cubicle or people you know, right? Yeah. And so they're very family. But so many values that they have that he is carrying, but with also the heart for innovation, but keeping really where they are. They do this thing called gracious growth. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a beautiful term that I had them unpack, because I'm like, what is gracious growth? For them, gracious growth is putting dignity back into work. So hand-sewn, handmade, arts, skill, craft, a labor of love. And, they've had this one seamstress we met. She's 83 years old. And she's a very expensive hire. Yeah. I think in America we would go, well, you've just aged up so much that now you're too expensive. We can get someone younger to do that. But they're putting dignity back into valuing her on the team and her experience and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's why the product is, in my mind, valued so highly. I try not to say expensive, but it is quite an investment to purchase a Brunello Cucinelli garment. Yeah. But they just value it at the labor that goes into it.
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that, because there's actually a minor controversy with Google just released an ad about Gemini and AI, and they had this part in the ad where they asked AI to write a letter to like their hero. Right. And everybody was like, that's so out of touch. Like AI shouldn't be writing letters to other people. Right. It should be like something that comes from you, from your heart. And then Google kind of took down the ad, but it comes to like the difference maybe in cultures, where here we're so fast moving, where we're like anything that can speed up the process to get us to the end goal, where there is like, maybe we need to slow down and be more intentional with, what we're building. So that's really cool. Correct. Very interesting meeting other people from different areas and kind of learning from them. Yep. And on the topic of legacy, we got to talk about Olympics, winning gold medals for your country. There's a lot of stuff that happened, from the opening ceremony to,
oh my gosh,
a very particular performance that we'll touch on. But I just wanted to start with the Olympic ceremony, because people would love to hear your thoughts about all of it. For people that don't know, the Olympic ceremony started with a version of what some are saying it's debatable now, that looked like the Last Supper. Some people are saying it wasn't. Some people are saying it is. But if you go look online, you can make that judgment for yourself. Personally, I thought it was. And so a lot of people are saying it was like a mockery of Christianity. And so, where do we stand on all this? Since then, the director of the performance has come out and apologized for it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he said he didn't mean any offense. So he said that wasn't the intent. It was meant to be, about love and inclusion. But, there it is.
Yeah, I don't mean any offense, but we're going to have transgender people, convulsing on stage in blue skin.
Because that's what the Olympics are about.
That's exactly what it's all about. Hey, look, I personally, I think there's no doubt it was a mockery of the Last Supper. That, is, you got the Louvre there, you've got art, you've got their modern take on it. I think what I'm not surprised. I mean, France is a very secular country. They have very secular laws, and you have to abide by their secular laws there. And that's kind of their statement to the world. They're much pushing a button. My thing is, what I would love to do, I would love to talk to every Christian who's easily offendable and say, settle down.
Well, what did you expect?
I expect Christians to be complimented when they pick on Christianity, because that's what Jesus said. Expect persecution. Right. Expect these things. So it should be like, oh, there they go again. What a compliment. They're not picking on Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
They're not picking on Islam.
Mm-hmm.
They're not picking on any of these things. Now, people could argue, well, they're afraid of, Muslims, not Christians. No, it's just that Christianity is real. You don't go after something that's fake, okay? You go after what's real because it's a pain point. And so every time they go after Christianity, let it be another notch to say, see, I know you know this is real, but you have to try and pull it apart and deny the truth.
Well, the tactic of, we just need to be a people that are not bullied,
Right.
like Muslims, they do that better. It's kind of like, was that
What?
Jesus' way?
Right.
No, because I think in the Muslim religion, revenge and vengeance is very much permissible. But how does Jesus teach us how to love?
Exactly.
Romans 12, he says, love your enemies. He says, in doing so, you're going to preach on this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
In doing so, you're heaping coals on their head. So, just love them.
Yeah, and there's power in patience, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to kind of,
Get reactionary.
Yeah, get reactionary.
Get defensive.
Yeah, I mean, one of the common things you saw was boycotting the Olympics, and I'm not going to watch, punishing all the other athletes for,
Yeah, but okay, you think about this in life. When someone makes a jab at you or accusation, it only hurts if it's true.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So if someone says, hey, Vance, you're a tool, and you go, no, I'm not. Okay.
It's rooted in truth, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Just showed your cards.
Back away, tiptoe, tiptoe back.
But if you go, yeah, I am a tool, it's what doesn't hurt me, doesn't affect me because there's no truth in it.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the enemy goes after us too, because always gets these things that are element of truth. That's where the hurt comes from.
Well, isn't that the enemy? What the enemy wanted is for Christians to not watch the Olympics, for Christians to not be engaged with the Olympics, for Christians to ignore that space now, to run away from that. Isn't that what the enemy actually wants?
I think the
good.
enemy wants Christians to be anti-everything.
Yeah.
And for me to see some of my friends in ministry saying, I'm boycotting the Olympics, I was like, come on. So, I kind of put a post out a couple of days later because a couple of our guys from Vive.
I didn't know that, by the way. That is so cool.
They won bronze in the gymnastics.
Yeah.
They go to
So
Stanford.
good.
And, here we are just as some of the teams here and just really celebrating them. And you've got Christians in the Olympics who now got Christians watching the Olympics saying, we're not watching.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you should be more Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I meant when I said, what did you expect? It's like, what did you expect from France?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Why are we shocked?
Yeah.
I like your perspective of if anything, let's take it as a compliment. Hey, we're in the conversation. And what I mean by what do you expect as well is maybe we've departed our post in France.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Maybe we don't have Bible believing Christians in those spaces anymore, which is why that can just fly, right? There's no dissenting, contrasting opinion.
Honestly, though, I thought, given the state of politics, even in America, I would not be surprised if we came out with something worse.
Right.
If we're throwing rocks at Paris or France, and that's indicative of who they are historically.
Exactly.
But right now, the way that a lot of the politics has gone in America, I wouldn't be surprised if, when's the next Olympics here? 2030?
2028, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In
LA,
LA, it's in 2028.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay. Look out.
I mean, look out.
Look
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Christians, fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
Unless there is some learnings that they've got from this Olympics, if that hadn't happened, maybe we would have had the most flamboyant transgender, cross-dressing person as the icon.
Yeah, and I think that there is a difference between, speaking truth, right, to these things and disengaging, right? If anything, these should be great invitations for Christians to meaningfully engage and not just fully disengage, boycott, run away, right? If anything, we should be running towards.
Yes, I agree. And I think sometimes I like to I like to think through the lens of Jesus.
Yeah.
Is Jesus in heaven going,
Right.
oh,
Exactly.
I'm so offended. That was my last supper.
Right.
Like I'm trying to be an offended person. Like,
So true, huh?
what do you think?
Yeah, we've kind of even idolized that moniker of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
That image is an artwork.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To start with, it's an artist's rendition that had firstly wasn't a Middle Eastern table. There's a high seated, just so. Okay, are they mocking the rendition of the Last Supper, or are they mocking Jesus and the actual Last Supper? I don't think Jesus is easily offendable at all. So let's be like Jesus.
Yeah.
Are we offended for Jesus, or are we offended for our sensitivities?
Go for it. I have a question.
I mean, in that, something that's been challenging me a little bit when I was on a 13-year anniversary trip with Kim, like, because I'm usually on a schedule, like doing a billion things, and then you're on vacation and you're like, I'm just going to read the Bible all day. And I was just kind of reading through Mark, and just that reminder of Jesus reclined with sinners. I was just meditating on that a bit. I was like, wow, like recline. And I was looking that up, and, de facto there is reclining in the Jewish dinner context, because it was a very intimate thing to invite somebody to your home and have dinner, because the way in which, actually to your point, the way in which they had dinner was actually kind of on couches, reclining, laying, right, with each other and things like that. And that was like Jesus' ministry.
So let's take that, right? So Jesus reclined with known sinners. Yeah. Okay, so the people who are getting offended at the mockery of Christianity, if we put it in that category, you're the same person who's not dining with known sinners.
Exactly.
Because you're too offended.
You're too offended.
So you're going to be super offended anytime they say anything.
Yeah. And then we get stuck in our echo chambers, and then we keep dwindling as a people group, because it's just we're selecting who we want.
So to your point, I'm boycotting. That's a retreat.
It's a retreat.
I'm pulling out of the Olympics. I'm retreating. You put up something so offensive, you push me back. Yeah. No, come on. We're meant to invade spaces.
For sure. I want to say this isn't just like something that happened just in the Olympics. It's almost every event that's controversial towards Christianity. And even towards, like, for example, when I was growing up, rap music was a big deal. Like, my family wouldn't let me listen to rap music because it was like going to corrupt your mind. But it was like, you can be in that space. Like, it's not rap music that's the issue, right? It's the people in it. But maybe we should be in that space. Maybe the entertainment business, there should be more Christians in that space to kind of change the tune. And I just want to touch on this. And question for you about running away. It actually happens in the church too. You get something that happens that affects you in church, and the response isn't, I'm going to fix this or address it in church. I'm just going to run away.
Tell me about that. That's interesting.
So I'm actually just very...
Really?
I'm going to find another church next week.
Does that really happen?
Does that happen?
Yeah. So I'm just curious, why do you think it is that our instinct as Christians is to run versus to run towards?
I mean, I've got some thoughts.
Rip into it. Go for it.
Look, I think we're as humans, I think we overproject, okay, and then we set a persona, and then sometimes it's easier. We take the easy way out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
to run away, to bail, to retreat is the easy way out.
For sure.
Okay, so I think about it even in the realm of something that we've faced over the years is in the realm of vision giving. So there's been times to stretch in faith and make a commitment, a pledge commitment. Say, hey, I'm believing by faith that I'm going to be able to say, let's give $50,000 above and beyond the tithe to the vision. Okay, so whatever that, I guess, inspiration came from, if I don't do anything about that, and then it comes to a point close to the end where I realize I'm not going to be able to fulfill that, do I take that as an invoice? And because I can't fulfill it, is it easier for me just to cut bait and run and hide, or just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do my best, but not take condemnation, right? But I think people still live under condemnation, live under legalistic mentality that, oh no, I'm going to be in trouble if I don't fulfill. No, there's no condemnation for those in Christ Jesus. Okay, if you gave it your best effort, you should be proud of it. But I think that's just one indication of why people want to bail and hide and save face, rather than face difficult conversations that want to make you grow.
Yeah,
that's totally good. Yeah, I even just go back to that picture of Jesus reclining. Here's the distinction, though. He didn't recline with sinners to stay there. He reclined so that he could redeem, right? So he could redeem these spaces. So even when you're talking about rap music, it's like, why were we running away from it?
Right.
Why aren't we engaging with it and seeing how we can be in these spaces to redeem those spaces, right? But I do agree. I think especially, my generation, the upcoming generation, because even just talking about the topic of grit, because in some spaces that's not been required. The pattern is take the easy way out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a good insight. I think shame is an accuser, right?
Yep.
Shame will get you to want to just take the easy way out, because those tough confrontations, acknowledging where you've fallen short, it doesn't have to end in condemnation.
Correct.
Right. And it can happen it can end in a deeper purpose.
Yeah.
Right. You win and you learn. What did you learn from it? Right. And can we move forward in that?
Yeah. And speaking of taking the easy way out, I need to give you the platform to be able to respond to Rachel Gunn, Ray Gunn, on behalf of your country. If you haven't seen, Australia sent out their finest
What a
breakdancing.
hero.
Well, she went crazy viral.
Brave.
Oh my
She
God.
has a PhD. I didn't even know you could get a PhD in breakdance.
You
This
can
is
get
a
a
thing.
PhD in cisgender studies.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Welcome
Doesn't
back,
mean
season 2.
Doesn't mean you're intelligent. Doesn't mean you're competent.
Right.
Just means you've done the classwork.
Well, she's a 36-year-old university lecturer. She has a PhD in cultural studies.
Yep.
She somehow was able to kind of maneuver her way into the breakdancing committee. Or she got her husband on the breakdancing committee. She set up a competition. She won her own competition. She ended up being elected to perform on behalf of Australia.
Did anybody else compete in this?
Yeah, so they have videos of it, and she clearly didn't win that, but somehow she was able to.
Wow.
Funny husband voted.
Yeah, exactly. So now there's all this controversy about, you had your husband on the panel and all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
so,
this is serious.
Yeah, so there's a lot of controversy about it, but
Yeah.
just
Look, I think it's a
anything you wanna
national.
say?
I think it is a national disgrace, and I think that there will be a inquiry.
Yeah.
There will probably be some inquiry from the Commonwealth regarding this poor display and national disgrace. I can say we do have better dancers. All right, I know we can't prove it, but I can say we. You know what the problem is here? The problem is the Olympics.
Yeah.
The problem is that you can be a gold medalist for breakdancing, and you're actually an Olympic gold medalist, but that may never ever be in the Olympics again. I just don't think you should be able to add particular sports to the Olympics that can be there one year and not there the next time. I just don't think that should be the. I
That's
think
so true.
they've got to be set.
Yeah.
And there's this whole it's kind of still in the theme of this buzzword of inclusion, which is such a dichotomy with the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're flying the flag of inclusion in some of the most exclusive
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
sports and
Right.
athletes on the planet.
Right.
Like these some of these athletes, they're winning by like 0.005 seconds in the 100 meter, and it's
Right.
like that's exclusive.
Right.
It's like this is the least inclusive
Let's
thing.
zeroing back on the breakdancing. It's not even a sport.
Yeah.
It's an art. It's a
Right.
dance.
It's not a sport.
So it's just crazy that one particular country who's hosting it can decide, well, we're going to add in
Right.
Exactly.
croquet.
What do you think
know?
synchronized swimming is? Is that art?
Oh,
That's art, I think.
That's art, right?
I think it's definitely in the dancing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just curious because that one's been in it for a while. I think, right? Synchronized swimming. I don't know. I think.
Oh, it's been in for a while.
Yeah.
I would categorize
Is
that
it-
more.
is it
This
a
is the first I've heard
mandatory
this
one?
argument. I think so. I think it is. I'm
Yeah,
not
because
sure.
you got like the set ones, right?
mhm.
And then you get the ones that are flexible and
Yeah.
in
things like
saying that, some dancers are very athletic,
Yeah, for sure.
but I don't think that most people recognize it, at least today, as like a sport.
Yeah,
right? And so
Look, I think Olympics should be individual sports.
No
so
team
not even
sports.
team sports.
No
No, I don't think basketball. I don't think rugby.
Interesting.
I don't think soccer.
That's a hot take.
Well, because I mean, not every country does
No.
those sports.
True,
Right.
true.
Right.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, our country's never even seen rugby. So okay, well then that's included in some things.
Yeah.
Cricket
Right.
is included, and
Right.
most people don't even know what a cricket bat is. So I think the Olympics should be, if you go back to Greek era, it's an individual versus another individual. That's where it started in the Greek. So we've added team sports and all these other things. I think it should be, you're looking for the Olympian.
Right.
And I think that, I don't know.
Do you think countries should be limited in their representatives? Like you look at now, people don't consider gold medal count as.
Oh,
like,
because
a gold-
America has
like,
4,000.
yeah, right. And we still
Hey,
barely
but
tied.
look, despite Rachel Gunn, look how well Australia did.
Yes.
Well, I
Pretty
think we got
impressive.
fourth.
Yeah.
In the gold medal count?
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Wow. Because what, swimming? Just swimming? Just
No, it's just
carried you
all
guys?
sports fans. But, there's a lot of medals there to be number 4.
Yeah.
A country of 26 million people. That's less than the population of California.
Yeah.
and we beat a lot of people.
But swimming is cheating, though. I feel like.
How is
right?
Like for them?
No, for gold medal count.
Oh, right.
Because basically the freestyle, right, is, and then it's basically you just created iterations
right.
are a little bit worse.
Okay, so
so it's like backstroke, butterfly. So everything's a little bit more inefficient.
Totally agree with that.
So I'm like, okay, of course Michael Phelps is gonna win. Of course this Australian guy's gonna win every time.
Right. So
because it's just a slight iteration
that
of the
I agree
same
with.
thing.
I'm gonna 100%.
hilarious.
See, this is where I think it's like it's a false narrative. And now I'm an American citizen, and look, do I love that America won? Of course, but we provide like 10x the amount of athletes. We're in way more competitions. And if you dominate in swimming or running, you're going to dominate with about 30 different medals.
Of
like
course.
you definitely, and you got this, obscure country winning ping pong, and you're like, wow, that's great.
Totally. Yeah, there should be weighting to it. I even just think that like gymnastics, it's impressive to me because like all those things are very different. Floor versus
rings,
like Simone Biles, she has to have a
wow.
different weighting
Right.
on what she does because that is crazy.
Yeah. It really is.
So one gold's worth 2 gold or something like that.
Something like that. Like let's just be
so much
honest.
better, right?
Let's just be honest. Like Winter Olympics curling. Come on, like that shouldn't count as much.
That's true.
as what Simone Biles did.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, breakdancing should be
So,
like a different scale, right?
Like a quarter of a point.
A quarter of
You
a
know what I mean?
yeah. Your medal is just smaller. It's like a broken off piece of one of the real medals.
That's right. But what did you watch the most?
Basketball. I think I was huge into watching U.S. men's basketball. I think a lot of the countries are catching up, which is kind of scary. We sent out the best, like
We almost
legends,
lost a couple times.
and we almost lost if it
Sheesh.
wasn't for Steph Curry. Praise God
Man.
for Steph Curry.
Praise God for Steph Curry.
So that's what I think. I don't think the whole team should get a medal.
Yeah, that's true.
The
We all get
MVP of
a-
the team should get the
I
medal.
watched
LeBron.
the classics. Track, particularly the sprints.
Yeah.
And gymnastics. Those are the most interesting.
They really are,
to
yeah.
me. It's just like crazy.
I watched a bit of the shooting. That was really good.
I never watched shooting until this time
So
around.
good,
It's
right?
so good.
How about the guy from Turkey?
Oh, just a hand in the pocket, just
Gangster.
They're
cool.
Turkish James Bond,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
It's so funny that I think she's from Korea. I forgot her name, but she had like the full setup.
Yeah.
She looked super swaggy,
Yep.
hit it, and then the next day, this guy comes out, no
Boom.
equipment. And
So
then
he
just-
did a brilliant quote. He's like, everyone online's been saying how cool I looked, but on the inside, it was chaos. And I thought that is a
Interesting.
great quote.
Yeah.
He could have been like, yeah, I was. No, he's like, inside it was chaos.
Yeah.
Like he's freaking out, but he just looks so calm.
Yeah.
So that was like mind over matter. That was cool.
That's crazy.
These guys are boss.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into politics next. I think we got to talk about it. I
From
think we have
Olympics
to,
to
but it's actually all within this topic of inclusion because
Okay.
Trump almost got, and it was because
Oh, we haven't talked since then.
we haven't talked since then. There was a lot that happened, and it was around his security detail. There's a lot of stuff going on now with DEI because of the people that they got in.
Yeah.
If you see videos, this isn't even a opinion piece. If you watch the videos of like the entire setup, how they did it. Yeah, I'm curious where you guys were when this happened because we were off for a while. Where were you guys when you heard about this?
I was in Italy.
Okay.
I woke up to it and I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Polignano a Mare and I literally woke up and I remember like Kira's still asleep and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Right.
is this real? Because
Right.
you first look at something like this.
Fake
Is this
news.
fake?
Yeah,
What is
same.
this?
Mm-hmm.
And since then I've done some deep dives. I've got theories on the window
wish you were
shooter.
here. Yeah. I
I've
wish you were
got
here.
man. I was straight onto my my deep fake
Tinfoil
channels
hat
and
came
everything.
on, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of research, and I know there's a lot going on. And I think I'm particularly in I guess interested because of my hobby with shooting and with my sniper rifle, and just knowing that it's not an easy setup. There is so much that goes in. I think knowing what's involved to make an accurate shot like that, there has to be stability. You have to position yourself quite stable. You have to actually line up a shot. So there is a lot of time. It's not like someone just quickly runs and pops something off. So how much went wrong?
Yeah.
Kind of, you have to have a very good reason to assume that this was not planned. Not planted.
Yeah.
And not overlooked. So
Didn't he run across the building?
He was spotted maybe hours. I don't know how many hours, but well before all of this, getting set up, climbing up this area where there was no security set up. But yeah, he was spotted. There's video of people saying there's this guy on the roof. He has a gun.
What's the argument for this being staged?
That the shots didn't come from him on the roof. He was the setup, but the shots actually came from the window underneath.
Oh.
And also there was this thing, he was in a BlackRock commercial before all this happened. Like the connections that he has outside of, this event, very suspect. I don't know what to believe, but I was also on Twitter as well, seeing all this stuff pop up. There's different angles from which the bullets are, passing by. People are saying it wasn't a bullet that hit his ear. It was shrapnel from it hitting something else. There's just like,
well, I think it was a bullet because you can see it.
Right. Then there's that picture or video that came out.
So when you talk to sharpshooters, you know what it takes to be able to execute on a shot. You need to calm your body. You need to literally slink down into a low breath, exhale, pull the trigger. This was rapid fire. And the fact that where his ear got shot when he turned his head, that is, you have to either say this is a hand of God moment or just an incredible fluke because he was millimeters away from dying.
Yeah.
And
let me see if I can find the picture.
The sharpshooter shooting from, I believe, from the window. The young kid, I think, is just a distraction.
Decoy.
A decoy. He was obviously convinced to.
So we don't think we caught the shooter?
No, I don't. I think it's FBI.
Wow.
Yeah.
Inside job.
Yeah, inside job.
But they were trying to get Trump.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you see? I don't know if you guys both saw this picture.
This is the deep state, guys.
This angle where he turned his head, and like the difference between like full civil war chaos in our country was like that small of a turn that happened. It just feels like, even if it was staged, that doesn't seem like.
Well, I've heard claims of the staging, but from the Republican Party. Like they're staging it so that they could elevate, Trump as like this hero.
Did you see and the reason that I would, we're just going to play a counterpoint to that.
That is a near impossible shot to stage.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's why it's like.
You are not, if you're a Republican Party, you are not putting your leader at risk.
That was always my logic. It's like, how, that's risky.
Yeah.
That's a risky.
Yeah.
Like gun safety is, the rule of guns is, even when it's unloaded, you don't point it. There's so many things. You don't put a shot past somebody because there's deviations. Right. There's so many unknowns.
Were you surprised at how quickly he got back up?
I actually was.
Yeah, I was very surprised. The Secret Service let him get back up.
So
like he's an active shooter.
No matter what your view on Trump is, he's a G.
He's a G. Okay. When he came, that picture, that shot of him with a flag in the background is. Oh, come on.
I'm just saying right now, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I would.
But there are reports. No, there are reports that they were saying shoot it down. So I think that maybe gave him the confidence to kind of pop his head up.
Yeah, but still.
But
that picture,
if you get hit
insane
with a bullet,
oh my gosh,
even if it's a nick or whatever, and you see blood, your heart is going to go 1,000 miles an hour.
Totally.
You'd be like, get me out of here. You don't know if there's no doubt that is a gangster.
No, that's gangster.
Yeah.
You can't doubt that.
We got to put this on the pod. I'll show you guys.
It's probably one of the best photos of all time.
It's impossible that could be set up like that. Like the flag in the background.
That's what I also was like, wait.
No, but did you see where the photographer was? This guy's a gangster. So he's literally had an interview as well. So he is lowered down because the platform's elevated, and the other photographers bailed, and because there's all these media people down there, a lot of them bailed. They're scrambling under chairs and stuff like that. So he's like snapping photos from down underneath, and then he literally said, as he saw Trump get up and raise his hand, he took the phone. He's like, I think I just took the greatest photo ever.
For sure. For sure. People are saying that him getting up was very important for the country. That strength. Like that, showing that strength that it wasn't.
That's America.
Yeah, that was very important. Because the country, like a lot of other countries see your president go down. That could have been very scary. But whatever you think about Trump, that was very important for our country, for him to get back up.
Well, I think we'd love to talk about what people think about Trump. I think, honestly, what we have with Donald Trump already we know is that other world leaders or dictators, Putin, Kim Jong-un, these leaders have a healthy respect or fear of Donald Trump that doesn't exist with current administration.
For sure.
So a move like that makes them go, oh,
yeah,
even more.
Yeah,
this guy is on the edge of wild.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, that's kind of what you want in a world leader.
Yeah. And I will say the argument against, for you were asking about it, is that I was talking to one of my friends who did a lot of security. He's been with like the Secret Service, CIA, like chatted with them, seen how they work. And he's actually said there's been this pattern of hirings that have been happening in these services where they don't hire for merit or skill level. And so he's actually seen a lot of these issues.
What do they hire for?
Inclusion and love, and but then it leads to these situations where now when you do need people to kind of go perform this job, they can't actually do it. And so he said it's almost wild to think that
so can I
it's
ask
a setup,
about this?
but it's
a setup, right? So let's look at the left. The Democrats have been the main proponents of DEI. Okay, that's kind of been their agenda. Like that's been the whole Biden administration. It's DEI. It's a transgender health minister. It's a gay transport minister. It's a lesbian secretary, media secretary. You've got even when he was selecting his vice president Kamala, he said he's going to choose from one of four black women. So everything was diversity, equity, inclusion. Okay. So the other day when Trump's on stage and he's at the media, black reporters media, and they said, do you think that she was a DEI hire? I don't understand why he didn't say yes. Because that's what you'd said. When did the left depart from their statement that DEI is good to now, you're just saying she's DEI? I'm just trying to figure it.
I feel like the left still promotes DEI, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So why was that a question?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's known.
No, they were just trying to trap
catch him.
him.
Yeah,
right?
trying
like,
to catch him.
Just trying to do anything to trap him. I think the large proportion of Democrats are still promoting DEI. Mark Cuban famously is really defending DEI.
He's got a different version of DEI there.
So that's my insight is if you actually listen to the podcast with Mark Cuban and Vivek, it's really interesting because, they're pretty adversarial and they're definitely on different sides, but I respected it from the sense that Mark Cuban was at least speaking a little bit intelligently and it seemed like he was defining it differently.
Can you give the audience some background into what?
Yeah, I think Mark Cuban is definitely sticking to his capitalistic principles, and he's saying that, hey, look, I use DEI to my advantage because I recruit in places people are not recruiting, but I still hold people to merit type of thing, which I don't think is the common usage of DEI, right? If we just go back to COVID and a lot of the rhetoric and narrative, there was definitely pressure on CEOs to make social statements that maybe they didn't form an opinion on yet. And you had to sign pledges and make public declarations. And that's why people like the CEO of and founder of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, retaliated and came out with pieces of like, no, I'm not making political statements, right? Because that definitely existed. The pressure of making social statements that maybe people didn't agree with. Yeah. Right. So I don't know if Mark Cuban is the best representation of what the actual ideology is. Right. I do think that, when I heard it, I was like, okay, cool. Like, but at least they're engaging in a way that's not idiotic. But it's interesting.
Yeah. I'm curious what you guys think, because we were just talking about this, about Christians and running away. But I think the thing that people are doing is saying, I will just follow what everybody says so I don't have to face any opposition. Where it's like, I will go the DEI route so that I don't have to go against people saying, 100%. And this is like, people, I think it's like the hardest thing to do is taking a stance against the norm. And I don't think, outside of Christianity, I don't think people do that in general.
So I think it's been a perfect storm, right? We had this really only goes back to its prominence was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, where it really took its kind of peak. It had to do with COVID, cancel culture had just come through rapidly. You had George Floyd riots. You had so many people cowtailing to the I guess the rhythm or fall into line or what do you stand for? And there was backlash in comedies. There's all these kinds of things, and I think a lot of weak, wimpy leaders it was easier for them to not make waves, to hide behind things and write off a huge amount of their profit to go, hey, let's just No, I don't think anyone believed this was a good idea. It was just to appease loud people. And at that time, loud people had a lot of sway until people realized they actually didn't. They didn't have that much sway. It wasn't actually a large group. So when you're pastoring, okay, you'll talk to somebody and they'll say, hey, everyone's saying this. When you're young in ministry, you go, oh my gosh, the whole church.
No, they.
It's like, okay, cool. Give me all the names.
Yeah.
And like, John. And you're like, and?
Smith.
And they're like, well, I've only talked to John so far. Okay, cool. So you and John, not everybody, right? And I think that's what they missed is like, it's a couple of people loud online, and the majority of people are just annoyed.
Yeah.
What I appreciated about Vivek's run when he was running for president was that he had this insight to not just talk about what he was against, but to give a vision or maybe even a revision of what America could be, right? And he's even been saying this recently. Okay, let's not even say make America great again. Let's make America greater than it's ever been before, right? And so I appreciate that. I've been thinking about this, okay, biblically, right? So kind of going through the book of Mark, it's an action-packed book, right? It's the gospel of action. It's just boom, 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 story, 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 healing, healing, healing. And there's like multiple times in rapid succession, it's like, and the crowds came around Jesus, and there was people coming from this city and that city and this city, and they all made their way to Jesus. And my conclusion kind of going through the first few chapters in Mark was Jesus was a really attractional character.
Yeah.
Like there was something about Jesus that word spread and people were attracted to him. And so a little bit of my meditation lately has been, I believe we should be civically engaged. I actually love political discourse. I think we should take a stand. I think we should make known the principles and the policies that are aligned with those principles. I agree with all of that. I just wonder, how do we do it in a way where we don't lose our attractiveness? And I'm not saying it's about like necessarily appealing, like trying to appeal to people, but there was something attractive about Jesus.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. So I like, like that's the tension that I'm honestly real time trying to think.
Yeah, I think you'll get a big discourse about, a lot of people will say, hey, Christians shouldn't be involved in politics. Maybe the premise for that is that we're about bringing heaven to earth, we're spiritual,
right,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but you're going to still spend your whole life here on earth. And so the world you live in is determined by your citizenship,
of course,
here on earth.
Yeah.
And so what world we bring in, I think bringing heaven to earth is changing the nature of earth to look like heaven.
Yeah.
To bring heaven's virtues and values to here on earth in politics. And you can't expect the world to do that.
Yeah. I'm curious. It's actually a very interesting question it's like, how do you do a model where you're not pushing and people are pulling from you? Because I think you see a lot of this right now where Christians have to be pushing and it feels like you're just preaching and people are like shutting down. But how do you get it where you're attractive enough, like Jesus almost, where it's like people are coming to you and trying to get the most out of you? So how is it that you're in politics, but maybe it's not about you just pushing an agenda, but you're doing it so excellently and it's like almost a testimony you got. Now people are coming in.
Yeah.
And like just like curious.
Look, I gotta say, be true to who you are. That's the first thing. Don't be a different version of yourself online than you are in real person. Okay, I will criticize people who present this one person online, but they're actually, so online they're this critic and they're like almost like hardcore. But in person they're the nicest, sweetest person. You're like, hang on. Just be the nice guy online as well. Just be consistent. So for me, I just know my personality is I provoke. I poke, I kind of do it. So I just do that. Yeah. And I'm going to do it in a fun way. I want to laugh at myself. Yeah. And laugh at our politics. And then also maybe present something that may be slightly humorous, but it's got a truth behind it.
Right.
It's good. Yeah.
Because I want to get people to think for themselves. Yeah. The last thing I want to do is tell people how to think. Yeah. But I want them to stop their one-track thought and maybe consider a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that Jesus modeled contrast for sure. I also found that probably what was attractive is that he did a lot of healing.
Yeah.
He did a lot of healing. Right. And I don't know, maybe a deeper principle in there is that how are we as Christians, especially kingdom-minded entrepreneurs, bringing solutions?
Yeah.
Right. We've talked about it before, but like, if we want a seat at the table, we have to bring solutions.
Yeah.
We can't just be the ones always criticizing, always anti. We're not going to actually really have a seat at the table unless we also are coming with solutions. So stand for something, but then come with a solution to effectuate that change.
I think he did a lot of healings. I agree. I think he also did a lot of innovative thinking.
Oh,
that was countercultural.
Totally.
So he took a countercultural stance. The Beatitudes was so shocking that, he would talk about love your enemies and do all these kinds of things. And it was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of what we should be promoting. I get worried about the person who only promotes politics but doesn't promote Jesus.
Wow.
Okay, if you're a Christian,
Wow.
is there a balance, or are you just so political that we can't see Christ through you?
Yeah. And I want to say one other thing on that topic of like taking a stance. I feel like people don't know what you can do until they see it be done. So like, can I do something where I'm taking this stance and then still be successful? Is that possible to be done? I think that's where we can kind of do that, where it's like, is it possible to have a company where it's all grounded on values that I believe in, not grounded on values that the world believes in, and still be successful? Is that possible?
Sure.
And so I think if you're out there and you're trying to figure out, how do I do this? That's how you should do it, by example.
Yes.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, cool. So we are kind of close to time.
Okay.
We have a few other stuff that we could chat about.
Man, that is a long list. That's a long docket.
Yeah.
We've
have
been
a
gone
lot
for a while. Season 2 coming in hot.
Arun's been out here all the time. We'll talk about this.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this.
Talk about.
He's actually been sitting here the whole time.
Yeah, I've been like, what would they like to talk about?
We didn't ask where you were over the summer.
Oh, that's true. I just got back from Lisbon. I was at a company offsite, which same reaction to you. I think we are a fully remote company.
You're in Lisbon.
Yeah, Lisbon, Portugal. Yeah.
Yeah, on a company offsite.
On a company offsite.
You guys do it large,
Hey,
man.
crypto. Hey.
People are
Crypto.
crazy. Crypto people are crazy.
I will say that was the location pick because it's actually very affordable. It's actually very affordable in Lisbon.
Sure.
So yeah,
Sure.
yeah, very
Because
affordable.
you're situated in Palo Alto.
Yeah, right. But there's a lot of people everywhere, I don't want to get into my company, finances, but it was really important. I think every one of these we get together and we meet each other. It kind of goes to what you guys are saying is like once you get to kind of see somebody in person, that conversations that you have allow you to kind of innovate so quickly because talking to somebody online is way different than talking to somebody in person.
For sure.
Really seeing how they react, how they, how you speak makes them kind of change their thoughts.
Yeah.
Seeing that in person is
Body
way
language.
different. Body language, so different.
That's huge.
But it's something that's really funny that came up with a lot of the engineers. We had like a week long, we had 3 days of a company-wide offsite, and then we had an engineering offsite after that. By the end of it, you're having all these technical debates, and you're kind of going back and forth. And by the end of it, it was like, how do we do this every day? How do we see each other every single day? And I feel like we've kind of lost some of that. Right.
It's like, oh no, I'm gonna miss my buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
But some people were like, how do we have these kind of like hard debates every day? Yeah. But like we've kind of lost some of that skill of just seeing somebody other day and just having these conversations.
For sure.
And it's very interesting that it just came up that way. It's like we're kind of weak in a way of like,
it's definitely going to weaken you. But I've got a question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that one, but the question I have for you is, when you do these company offsites, because you guys seem to do them pretty big, is that a factor in someone's mind if they're thinking about jumping ship or going to a different company? It's like, oh, but I'll miss out on the offsites. Is that the plan for going so big?
I don't know. I think our company has not done it for that reason. It's more of we just desperately need it for people to kind of build relationships. We do it once a year. This company I won, if things worked out, we would like to do it twice a year. And then we have like the smaller teams do their offsites. But I think you can't do a remote company without doing it. I don't think that's just possible to do. Either you go back into the office or you have these scheduled kind of offsites. And so I think that's the way our company thinks about it. Yeah.
And so the push for remote companies, you think you can get the best talent by a spread of people across the globe?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't think talent is concentrated?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it could be anywhere. I think now with remote work, people are living anywhere, especially. So now people that used to be.
But let's say remote work didn't exist. Do you think talent people would concentrate?
Oh, I think, yeah, for sure. I think it used to be in the Silicon Valley. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then once COVID hit, now.
It still kind of is. But yeah,
that's true.
It's also distributed.
Yeah. Do you consider Overflow a remote company?
We're hybrid.
We're hybrid, yeah.
It's actually 50-50 now.
Okay, cool.
So we have half in office and half distributed.
Do you feel like you guys are going to go full back to 5 days?
Yeah, so 5 days, I haven't made a decision on that. But we will continually exclusively hire for in-person going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll probably be like 80-20 eventually.
Yeah. And you've done this for the church as well. You guys have offsites where you guys do it. Do you feel like that's the reason you guys do it, to build those relationships? more so than you can get?
I think both and. I definitely believe in the collaboration moments and the in synergy, that you get, the team dynamic. And the reason we do an offsite is because we're trying to pull them together from around the globe in height, like I guess utilize that week, maximize expenses on they're spending money on a flight. Okay, well while you're here, instead of making 2 flights, that kind of stuff. So being very diligent with finances and capitalizing on that, but the in-service moment of being able to do things together in the room, that body language, that camaraderie, that rapport, it's huge. Yeah. It's very big.
Do you guys style your offsite so that you have cross-functional engagement where it's like usually you're siloed to your team, but now during these offsites, you guys make sure that you have people from different departments.
Yeah, so we do it's a very fun interaction where we'll do sessions, set sessions in like the conference room of the hotel, and then we'll do set lunches. So I assign people to have lunch with each other over the 3 days. So they're mixed up, and it's very intentional. People that wouldn't usually kind of collaborate on something or connect. And then, we just do group dinners, and we'll seat people specifically around the tables to, I like to, at these things, I like to separate spouses. Because it's kind of like your some guys, some fellas find comfort next to their wife.
Right. I mean, yes, that's me. I find the most comfort. Yes.
That's funny.
Shilps, if you're listening. But does Shilp listen to
She just finished her bar, so now if she doesn't...
How did she go?
She said it was very difficult, but she's glad it's done. She just took her ethics one today, so now she's done. Now we wait till November, and
that's when you get the results?
That's when you get why do they do it like that? I mean, they got to manually they have to manually grade all the essays.
We need AI. We need AI. That's crazy.
So so now it's a waiting game. So now it's a waiting game till November. But no excuse. If you're out there, you got to listen now. And I'll be checking code 1332. You got to tell me that code back if you heard this
ABACADB.
If you heard this far into the podcast. But one last thing about that, because I think the thing that I took away from it was chatting with people outside of my org, like outside of engineering. And just once you understand the work that they're doing, it kind of puts into perspective how important this team culture is. Sometimes you could think the work you're doing is the most important thing. Wow. I know you guys are at like a leadership level, but I think for like, for the people, that are still doing IC work like myself, sometimes you think the thing you're doing is the most important thing.
But it's not.
It takes every single function to work properly to get there. And so, I think I was just curious if you guys do the same thing. We didn't do it intentionally. It just kind of happened organically. Okay. But like, I would like more of that. I think more people should do more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. So I think we'll wrap it up. If you haven't, please subscribe to the Hype Podcast. Hit that follow, share it, and great episode, guys. Season 2.
It's good to have you back, fellas.
It's good to have you guys back.
So fun.
Honestly. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.